Hello, everyone. I'm Nataraj, your anthropology faculty at Sarrthi IAS. Over the years, I've worked with thousands of students who are preparing for UPSC mains with regard to their anthropology study. Today, I want to share something that we've actually put in a lot of thought into for designing. Okay, that is going to be your QEP Plus program for Anthro mains. Um, it's basically a writing-focused anthropology initiative that we are bringing here. Um, so if you're planning to write mains 2025 or mains 2026 also, right? So this is something definitely worth considering. So this QEP Plus. So what is it? The QEP is essentially a quality enrichment program. So it's not a test series in the conventional sense. Okay, so it's also a test series. So think of it as a holistic, structured space wherein you're going to build your answer writing discipline. Okay, your experience in writing answers, improving your content recall. Okay, fine tuning your overall anthropology paper over a period of time, one step at a time, for the next 80 something days, or for mains 2026 students, a little longer than that. So what's in this particular program? See, essentially, we have QEP Plus and we have QEP. So in QEP, you have access to live answer writing sessions, and QEP Plus is going to be three aspects, which is going to be the live answer writing sessions. You're going to have direct mentorship sessions, and you'll also have these weekly tests, right? That is that. I'll talk about all three of these. So in the live answer writing sessions, which is going to be held on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 p.m., right, each week. So we will be writing answers together. Okay, we'll be discussing them critically. How could it have been better? Okay, I'll show you a sample answer and not just an ideal answer, right? Because ideal answers are different, right? What could be a very good answer under the same sort of UPSC kind of constraints? What are the UPSC constraints? It is going to be word limit. You can't write everything that you know. Okay, you have time constraints. You have to write 7 minutes, 14 minutes, 11 minutes, depending upon whether it is a 150 word answer. Word limits: 150 words, 250 words, 350 words, and so on. So just so that you can understand, so within those constraints, what's possible, what's not possible, okay, and what all could have again been brought into your paper for that extra marginal benefit. Second thing is going to be direct mentorship sessions. So since we are basically just launching the program here, until mains, I am the only mentor that you'll get. So make the most out of it. We'll talk about, mentorship is basically more about support, right? We'll talk about all your weak spots. We'll talk about how you're progressing, your overall progress over a period of time. Okay, and just checking in about how you're feeling in this UPSC journey, right? So it's a stressful journey. I'm sure that all of you are going to be basically going through that struggle, even mentally also, right? So we'll talk about like how little time you have and how much you have to basically achieve and so on and so forth, but we'll figure it out all together, right? So that is that. The third aspect is going to be your weekly test. So every Saturday is going to be a test. You can see the schedule. I think it's already put up on the website. It draws directly from your Monday, Wednesday session. So Monday, Wednesday sessions, let's say that we have a particular module. Let's say we have a particular area of syllabus that we are going to target. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we are going to learn that, okay, and we are going to practice and internalize all of those things that week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is going to be your practice, okay, and post that you're going to try to bring all those things that you have practiced on Monday and Wednesday and Friday and whatever else that you have learned in those value add sessions, in that live answer writing sessions that I provide you. Okay, you can actually try to sort of try to implement those in on your Sunday exam, which is going to be a full length paper, 19 questions, 3 hours, strict exam conditions, so on. The idea or the principle here is basically, were you able to write what you wanted to? Were you able to sort of bring in everything that you thought, okay, all these things I'm going to try to bring into that answer? All that value add points that you had in mind, did it finally make it into your paper within those 150 words or within that particular space or within that particular timeline? So that is that. Okay, so and we'll also support this test series with a clear synopsis, right? So you'll have all the pointers that you need to be able to answer these kind of questions as well. See, the live answer writing, I'll talk a little more about this, right? So generally, I will be providing you a certain number of questions. The idea is kind of very simple. Before you write 19 answers on Saturday on the test series, on the test or the test series, I want you to write 19 answers before that. Get that practice, right? And here, after we basically discuss how that answer could have been approached and showing you a sample answer within those constraints, okay, we will also go through what could be the value addition that can, what are the things that can basically go into your paper, okay, that can actually make you stand out. Okay, what makes you, you have to make that strong claim for that extra 1 and 2 and 3 marks for every question to be valuable, right? We'll also focus on a lot of analytical aspects as well. We don't want to keep our paper a pure, like a fact memorization sort of a game, right? So take an example of, let's say, a topic that a lot of students feel is very memory oriented. Let's say your archaeology. See, archaeology need not be only memory oriented. What are the analytical angles here? How many of the students basically know that? How many of the students probably know that, but they're able to bring this in? Take the very first topic in your archaeology, let's say Lower Paleolithic. So Lower Paleolithic is not only about your Didwanas and your Kulyana Kamarparas and your Medrasi and so on, right? There are only two very clear sort of traditions that are there in your South Asian sort of context. What are they? Okay, what is that imaginary sort of a line that basically separates this one tradition from the next? What are the two major sort of, like, what makes them different? Okay, which one is the more advanced one and why? Right? So all of these things are basically the analytical aspects. Okay, and this is something that you have to try to find a way to bring into your answer. Right? So let me take another example. Take human evolution, for instance. Okay, another topic where, so let's take an example of, let's say, something like an Australopithecine family. Actually, it's not a family, it's a sub-tribe, but let's take Australopithecine as a group. Now, you might think that it is very fact-oriented, but, anthropology is all about reconstructing the past, not just about memorization, right? So, for instance, let's say you take Australopithecine and you want to sort of have like one particular socio-cultural set of features, okay, that, see, your 𝐝𝐸𝐬𝐬 and afferences weren't even in the same region as your Africanus and Robustus. There are a lot of differences. So how could you say, maybe some similarities because that's why they're part of that particular group, but at the same time, these are the kind of differences that make them, separate, Africanus, Robustus, afferensis, 𝐝𝐸𝐬𝐬, and so on, right? So these are basically the analytical angles that you can bring into your paper. So the idea, the entire principle is very much, very simple. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we learn, we make mistakes, okay, we practice it, okay, and memorize at the end of that session on what are the things that you want to sort of like take, okay, and how on Saturday you're going to try to implement all of those things in that particular topic, okay, by making it relevant or if it is relevant. So that's the main sort of idea. Now, why does this matter with regard to a great score for anthropology? See, a test is a high pressure game. A mock test is a high pressure game. Okay, your Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there's no pressure to be perfect. In fact, as I always say, right, the very first few answers that you write will be bad answers. Okay, and then you're going to better it. Eventually, with more experience, you write some more. You're going to sort of like promote your answers to the next level, which is below average. And then after that, average. And after that, a little bit better. And one day you're going to be writing, your baseline is going to be good answers. And if it is your day, those answers are going to be the great answers. But you've got to get the average and the below average and the above average ones out of the system first by writing. And that's what your QEP Plus program is going to give you the space for. Okay, so it's just about showing up 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, staying with it, fighting it out, and giving yourself the time to grow throughout the week. Not only in that particular module or not only as an anthropology student, but also as an anthro writer, as an anthropology scorer, right? So every Sunday, we'll start from 0 again. Okay, and we are going to struggle it out Sunday through, especially Monday, Wednesday, Friday, make all the mistakes, pick up the new things, memorize them in the class itself, and just stay in the fight. And boom, by Saturday, okay, you are going to show up with your best. And slowly best becomes, your more sort of like regular kind of answer. What about the outcomes? How does this, see, I've seen, what this kind of a structure and routine can basically do. See, Aditya was my student, right? He got ranked number 9, the highest ranking anthropology student from, highest ranking student in anthropology this year, right? He stuck to the same thing, right? He stuck to steady daily writing, weekly writing, taking in some, new value additions and trying to implement from the very next test. He did his entire mains with me, great kid. And here's what the Aditya rank 9 basically had to say about his experience with us. We had another student, Rahul, right, 147 in paper 1, and to a great extent, he's on the list because of his anthropology score. In fact, there's a very interesting example of a student who took anthropology as a course only after prelims. So he did the foundation course with us, okay, and then he took a test series all in that 2.5 months and scored 144, 145 in paper 2. And most of you would know that paper 2 is relatively easier, but harder to score. It's a more analytical paper. And to score one of the highest, okay, in that 2.5 months, that is no small feat. So it is definitely possible. And none of this is magic. It is just the power of staying steady, early start, and a good routine for 80, 85 days. So what do we ask of you? See, none of our toppers have made it without feeling the pinch, without feeling the struggle, right? 3 months is hard for anybody, but they showed up for each and every session. And I request the exact same thing from all of you. Show up. You're not going to come perfect every single session, but come to fight it out. Struggle it out. Don't miss a single session on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and prove it to yourself. Okay, yes, from last Saturday to this particular Saturday, I have actually improved in so and so. And these are all the new things that I basically memorized. These are all the things that I basically remember. These are all the things that I basically put into my paper, which I would have not done a week ago. Right? You will prove that to yourself. So if you show up, okay, attendance marker, right? Write in each and every session, every single question that is given. Okay, write each and every test. Don't miss a single Saturday's test and write it on that same day. Do not miss the deadlines. And I promise you, not only an interview call, but a very solid rank is also on the cards if you just show up to every Monday, Wednesday, Friday session and along with it the Saturday and just come to struggle it out. So if you're planning to give your mains, guys, okay, and you're looking for that kind of a space wherein you come to make mistakes, to write regularly, to reflect, and overall just keep growing with a good support system, with a good routine, please do join us. Okay, we are beginning soon. June 2nd is the very first day. We'll be sharing all the schedule details. I think it's already up on the website. So just show up on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, learn something new in class itself. Okay, keep going, right? That's all we need. And this year will be your attempt in which you probably get your double-digit rank or even possibly quite like Aditya, even a single-digit rank is on the card. So all the best. Trust me, you're ready for the fight. Let's begin.